and then I'll share this link. Okay. We might go shorter today. I don't know, but I was thinking about what you guys need to hear. And there's two things that I want y'all to understand today. And the first thing, I feel like it's little, it's seemingly little, but I think it's also huge. So I'm going to ask y'all a question and we're going to see what you say. And if you get it wrong, it's okay because I listened to a trainer ask this question and pretty much everybody got it wrong. All right. What is the goal when you are talking to people about Plexus? Either the products or the opportunity. What is the goal? I just don't like peach. I wonder if it's that I know it's really peach.
To get them to fall in love with the products and have
What's the
success.
goal? I cannot hear anybody. Is this my problem?
Can you hear me?
Oh, maybe it is my problem. Hold on.
Can you hear me?
Oh, maybe now. Okay, talk to me again.
Hello? Can you hear me?
My headphones hate me right now. Okay, we'll just take them out. Maybe they decided they're not happy. Okay, we'll plug them in. All right, what is the goal when you're talking to people about Plexus? Let's just start with what the goal with the products. What's the goal when you're talking to people about the products?
For them to have results and feel, I guess, successful.
Okay,
Them to love the products.
what about when you're first talking to them? What is the goal when you talk to people about trying Plexus?
To sign up.
Okay, what is the goal when you're talking to people about the business?
To share.
What do y'all think, Lindsay and Brandy?
What's the
Well,
goal
I
when we're
guess
talking to someone about the business?
Yeah, either one, the business or the product.
Um,
But yeah, what's the goal when you're talking to somebody about the business?
okay, so I would say that if I'm going to talk to someone about the business, my goal would be to get them to would be to find out if they have a reason, a need, and then if so, to get them to try this, to do this with me.
Yep. Okay, Brandy, kind of similar answer.
well, I was going to say with the products is first get them to just listen to you, like to listen to what you have to say, and not just, I don't need that. So,
Mhm. Here, it's kind of a trick question, and here's why. And I think if we, especially when we're trying to, help people start to share the products, and as we are trying to share the business, if we make this little shift in our head, I feel like it gives you a lot of freedom. And here's the deal. The goal is not to get them to say yes. The goal is not to get them to share. The goal is not to get them to sign up. The goal when you're talking to people is to get a yes or a no, because not everybody is going to do the products. Not everybody's going to try the products. Not everybody's going to share. If your goal, if your success is measured by the number of yeses, then you're going to be frustrated because you're going to get more no's than yeses. The goal is just in sales. Like, this is a sales skill. The goal in sales is not to get your desired outcome. It's to go into a conversation and get people quickly to a yes or a no and get them out of that hanging out in the middle, because that doesn't help you. So the first best answer is yes. The second best answer is no, because if you're hanging out there in the middle, you're wasting time. Does that make sense? And I feel like a lot of times in network marketing, we kind of shy away from saying that it's sales. It is sales. It's just a type of sales. And sales are not inherently good or inherently evil. It's just sales. Just like accounting isn't inherently good or inherently evil. It's just accounting. Teaching. This one is perfect for you guys, that you either have taught or have children that go to have teaching somewhere. Like, you have teaching's not inherently good or evil. Even Catholic priests aren't inherently good or evil. I mean, we could go into like original sin and all that mess. We're not going to go into that. But like, the profession isn't inherently good or evil. It's the people doing the profession that either make good choices or bad choices. But so sales, we are in sales. And if we embrace that and learn good sales skills, we're going to be more successful. And salespeople know that the goal is not to get everyone to buy. It's to weed through, sort through those people and find the ones that want to buy and help them buy as much as you can help them buy. Okay, does that make sense? So when you go into a conversation, your goal is just to, like you said, I love that y'all said, ask questions, figure out if there's a need. That's part of getting them to a yes or no answer. Figure out if there's a need, make a recommendation, ask if they want to try it. If they don't, put them on a list for follow-up and then move on to the next person. You're sorting through, you're sifting through, because in sales, you want to have a lot of conversations and get through those conversations and find the person that's ready to order. Now, because y'all are also Christians, I'll say that in the sales conversations and the sharing conversations, so, we talked about last week, I think, that we have two parts of our business. We have the customer side and the sharing side, or the money side, the health side and the wealth side. And so as we're going through those conversations, it's helpful just to keep in mind that not everybody's going to say yes. Actually, less and less people are going to say yes to the sharing than say yes to the customer side. But we're having those conversations, and we want to have enough of those conversations to get to the place where we get to the people that need what we have. And if we're praying, that's the Christian side of it, I feel like God's going to send us those people. But if we're wasting our time trying to get people to get to a yes or no answer, I mean, letting people live in that middle ground where they're just, we keep talking to them and we think our goal is to get them to say yes. I mean, it's okay to get them to say no too, because then we can move on. And it typically, no, it's not even no forever. It's no right now. And then you can put them on a follow-up list and you can come back to them in 90 days. So that's key point number one. If you're on this call with me now, or if you're watching the recording, we are in sales. Sales is not evil. And one of the skills in sales is one of the principles is knowing that sales is about conversations, and the goal of a conversation is to get as quickly as possible to a yes or a no, and then move on to the next conversation. Okay. So that's number one. And like I said, I think that's I love that. I almost look forward to the no's, because they're actually responding. Yes. Like I said, the best answer is a yes. But then the second best answer is a no, because then you're not wasting your time and you can move on and look for the next person, because you're just sifting through and finding the right people. I've heard several different ways to explain this, but one of the things that I've heard multiple times is, let's say you're in a stadium let's say you're in the high school stadium, and the speaker says, okay, on the floor, there's 1,000 red Solo cups, and underneath 5 of them are leaders, are people that are business builders. They're people that are going to join your team and take you to the top. They're going to be jewels. They're going to be diamonds. And they're there. So you're going to run down there and you're going to start turning them over, but you're not going to just sit there and try to convince this one cup to become the person. You're just going to keep flipping cups as fast as you can, looking for those 5 key whatevers. You're looking for those 5 gold coins. You're not going to waste time on the ones that don't have gold coins. You're just going to keep looking for the ones that have gold coins and move on. And also, if you start on one end of the stadium and somebody else starts on the other end, you might pick the first 5 might be your gold coins, and somebody else, it might be their last 5. But you just have to keep going, because statistically, we know that those people are out there. Okay, so that's why conversations are a huge part of success in this business. And so one of the things you want to think about when you're either growing to gold or helping other people grow to gold is that you want to be, sounds like a train. I don't live by a train. You want to be helping a lot of people You want to be helping yourself and you want to help people have conversations. So you want to think about most of the people as you're going to gold and as other people are going to gold, this is not your full-time job. A lot of people have another full-time job or at least another part-time job because when you're at that growing to gold level, a lot of times you still need other income. So you can't just sit at home and work Plexus all day. So you have to be smart about the activities you're doing. And so you want to prioritize the activities that are going to bring money into your business. And so if I were to ask, what pops up in your mind as the activities that bring money into your business? What are some things that come to you? This one's not really a trick question. I still hate peach. Ugh. What's coming
I
to
mean,
mind?
following the system, dripping, all the things we're supposed to be doing. I mean, that's going to lead to new customers or new business partners.
Okay. What if you had to just name two things that are income producing in your business? What two things would you say? Or have the highest probability of making you money?
Developing leaders?
Yeah, and that's a really good answer. So basically, talking to people about the products or talking to people about the business. Now, along those lines, you're going to have more success talking to people that know, like, and trust you. Then you're going to have success talking to people that don't really have any kind of relationship with you. And that's where that relationship building and such comes in. Okay. So, Brandy and Lindsay are both new and may have not heard this before. And Casey, you've definitely heard this before, but this is probably something that you need to share with Gina and just something that y'all need to understand. And I've talked about it and I called it kind of my laundry system. Okay. Like in our business, we have multiple things we need to be doing on a regular basis to help keep moving people from one point to another. And those points in our business are increasing our network. That's having more people know you exist. Okay. That's step one. Having people who, that's like bucket one, people who know you exist. And then of those people, you want to be taking people that know you exist and be helping those people actually know, like, and trust you. And you do that through personal conversations, in person, in activities, and through your posts on social media and your stories. Okay. And liking and commenting on their posts. So that's how you do all that. And then from those people, then you want to be asking people to take a look at your products or your business. Or you want to be asking people if they have a need that you can solve with your products or your business. Or you want to be offering people based on what you see a solution to a problem that you have identified or you're guessing that they have, an educated guess that they have based on your business. So you've got bucket one is just the pool of people that know you exist. Bucket two is the pool of people that is smaller that know you exist, but also have, like you and trust you to some extent and have feelings about you. Okay. And then from those people, you have the people that you ask to take a look at your business and opportunity. And that's a key business activity that you need to be doing. Okay. And then after that, you are following up because 9 times out of 10, the people you ask are not going to be ready the moment you ask them. Brandy's a great example of this. I know this personally because the first time Loretta mentioned Plexus, she was not interested. Probably the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh time, she was still not interested. So knowing that and knowing how long it took you, just know that key step number 3 of asking people who have some, have some knowledge of you and know, like, and trust you to some extent, you're still going to have to follow up with them. And when you follow up with them, the follow-up, people will buy from you if they trust you and they believe you can solve a problem. So if you ask them in step 3 and they're not ready to order from you, that means you either need to build more trust or you have not clearly shown them how you can solve a problem. So you follow up by building the relationship and building the desire and need for what you have. So you follow up by sending them personal stories, by posting things that you think they'll relate to, and by just treating them like a human and showing that you care. Okay. And then from that, after you follow up, when you get to the point where you're ready to ask them to make a decision, when you've given them the information they need, then you ask them, what do you think? Are you ready to get started? And that's closing the deal. And then after that, they move, if they order, then they move into the VIP bucket. And your VIP bucket is typically 9 times out of 10 where your business builders are going to come from. But it's another process. Like, they now know Plexus exists and they have decided to try it, but they don't know that they love it yet. They don't love it yet. So, so most of the time, most customers, it takes 60 to 90 days for them to be willing to share. So your goal, once you get them to be a customer, is to help them have a great customer experience. It's to help them continue to trust you and build a relationship with you and our community, because people stay for community. Okay. So once they become a customer, you've still got some more buckets you've got to move them through before they're going to become a business builder. And not all of them will, but that's when you ask them, to share, and you keep following up with them. And eventually, if you keep moving them along that pipeline, so to say, then they will, some of them, if they do stay 60 to 90 days, and they do love their products because they've had a good customer experience and they've seen what the products can do, then they're going to be willing to share. And of those people, some of them are going to be willing to share once, and that's all. Some of them are going to be willing to share for a season, and that's all. And a few of them, smaller number, are going to be willing to go all the way and catch the vision. But your goal at each step in the process is just to be trying to move people from one spot on the pipeline to the next, or find out if they're ready to move to the next step in the pipeline. So as we are having, your business is about conversations. At every step in that process, it's a conversation. Now, sometimes that conversation is one-on-one, but sometimes that conversation is on Facebook with you talking to a lot of people at once. Sometimes that conversation is not even you. Sometimes that conversation is you inviting somebody to a Zoom where they are watching something else. But it's all about conversations aimed at getting them to decide yes or no to a question that you are asking them. In the beginning, that question is, do you want to be my friend? Do you want to get to know me better? Do you want to be in my network? And you get them on Facebook. And then the question is, do you have a problem that I can help you with? And then that question is, are you ready to make a change and do something about it? And then that question is, are you going to be willing to take your products consistently? And are you going to let me connect you to the resources we have? And then the question is, are you willing to share and talk to other people? And then the question is, are you willing to share more? But if we consider that in each conversation, the goal is not to get our desired outcome. It's to find out, it's to get them to a yes or a no. That's going to free us up to go spend more time looking for the next person to ask to do the thing, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Because if I sit here and say, hey, go talk to your VIPs about sharing, and all you do is have conversations with the same people over and over again, and they ignore you, you're not anywhere closer to where you're trying to go. But if you can get, if your VIP says no, then you're like, okay, great. Now I'm done asking her for 90 days. Now I'm going to go look for somebody else, So it just helps give you clarity, and it gives you focus. And it takes the head drama out, I think. If you know the goal is not to get them to say what you want them to say or do what you want them to do. It's just to find out, are they willing? Are they interested? That's why we ask the question, are you open? And if they say no, we're like, no problem. And we mean that. Okay? Because we don't want to have to go harass and change people's minds. I hate that. If somebody's not willing to take their products consistently, I don't need them as a customer. Like, I will try my best to help them. I know Brandy's had a lot of problems with people ordering and then like their products sitting in the package. And I'm not sure what the PC answer is, what the correct PC answer is, but my correct answer is I'm going to try to support them. I'm going to give them the opportunity to I'm going to ask if they want ideas for being consistent. But if they're putting forth zero effort, I'm going to go find somebody else because they're going to suck my energy out. And that's not who I'm looking for. I am looking for those gold coins, those 5 gold coins. And I'm going to find a lot of customers along the way. And I'm going to ask those customers, do you want to be a gold coin? And they might say no. And that's okay. 90 days later, I might say, hey, do you want to be a gold coin? They might say no. I'm going to keep asking, but then I'm going to keep moving on. And I'm not going to take it personally. I'm not going to let it suck my energy out. I'm just going to ask people. And the goal, if I get people to say yes or no, I am good. And I can feel good about that. And I can know that statistically, you ask 100 people, you're going to get 20 to 30 that even respond. And of those 20 to 30, you're going to get 10 maybe that are willing to actually respond after you send them something. And then you might get 3 that are ready to order and do something. Now, in the beginning, when you're working with your warm market, this is why it's easier in the beginning. And then you think you're bad at it. You're not bad at it. In the beginning, you're working with your very warm market, and those people already have that relationship with you and that trust with you. And so all they need is a little bit of info, and then they're ready to go. But as you move out into your less warm market, it's going to take more follow-ups for them to be willing to trust you and trust the products. And you're not bad. It's literally that you don't have that close relationship. That's why most people can get to silver. Some people can even get to senior silver or gold really quickly, and then they can't get past that. And then they're like, I'm really bad at this. I'm going to quit. No, it's because they don't understand that you can do it without skill in the beginning. Your sheer excitement makes it happen in the beginning. But then once you're going to hit a level and you have to grow skills. And if you decide that you suck at it because you're not successful and because you're not getting yeses all the time, then you quit because you're frustrated. But if you understand that it just means that you have to start working the system and learning the skills, then you can learn the skills. Anybody can learn the skills. There are diamonds that do not have college degrees. I'm pretty sure there are diamonds that don't even actually have high school diplomas. There are definitely diamonds that had to ask which products magnesium is in. Now, you may know that. Do y'all know which product has magnesium? There's actually probably 2 or 3, but what's the main product that has magnesium? BioCleanse. We know this, right? There are diamonds, and this is one that you know. And I don't remember who it was now, but I'm just like, wow, it doesn't matter. That wasn't what was important. It doesn't. So you just have to know that you can learn the skills, and it's all about having conversations and getting good and okay with people saying no. Because as you get good at getting people to say no, you'll also get better at getting people to say yes. And knowing in your own heart that most people are going to say no. Think about the McDonald's people. Every time I drive up, they ask if I'm going to round up for Model McDonald House. Every time I drive up, they ask if I'm going to supersize it. I feel like statistically, most people say no. Do they quit asking? Do they give up? Do they cry and quit? No. That's their job. They just ask. And they know that it's not about them and how well they asked if you wanted to supersize it. There's only a few ways that you can ask people to supersize it. Like, it's not really a thing that requires a lot of skill. And guess what? if you follow the system, it's not even so much about skill as just following the steps consistently. Now, when you're selling high ticket items and when you're selling the business, there is more skill involved. But when you're just trying to sell a package of products, it's mostly just following the system. Okay. So that was 28 minutes and that was a lot of preaching. So we're going to stop now and I want to hear thoughts or questions. And if you're watching the recording, you can ask your own questions, but I don't know if we'll answer them. Maybe they'll ask your questions and you'll get to hear the answers. Do y'all have any questions? Any aha moments? Any, I didn't think about it that way.
I definitely feel like the way you approached it with the messaging and getting the no's, like we're like it kind of has changed. I mean, my mindset's already changed with me sharing more. I mean, messaging more. But I feel like the way you kind of put that is like, actually now I'm looking forward to even a no because they're not ghosting me.
Yeah.
They're not seeing the message and just not responding. So I'm getting to where I'm like, it doesn't feel not icky, but it doesn't feel uncomfortable anymore. I'm just messaging and like hopefully they respond. And if they don't, then I just move on to the next person.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to take out the emotion because your emotion is what's going to stop you. And once you get really good at sending the product asks, then you can get better at asking about the business because your brain gets in the way about that too. But if we can master and be comfortable asking about the products, then we can take that and use that to get comfortable talking to people about the business. So, and it's just a muscle it's a muscle that you can flex and grow. And the thing is, it's like, I know a lot of people like to batch their messages, and Meredith talked a little bit about this on our Alaska Zoom, but I know a lot of people like to batch their messages. But if you only work out every Monday, it's harder to get the momentum back when you do it next week. If you just do a little bit every day, it's kind of like laundry. I know some people like to do all their laundry on the weekend. My husband and his family, they used to clean their house like once or twice a week. I mean, once or twice a month. And in between, it would just get to be horrendous. And they would like get a lot of, energy and effort into cleaning the house this once or twice a month. And it was just horrible. Same with laundry. Some people might wait 2 weeks to do laundry. I would get overwhelmed and probably shut down. I just do laundry every day. I do a little bit of laundry every day. My husband is happy to wear 3 different outfits a day so that I can do that. Yep. I don't really know how a minister who works from home half the time needs to wear 3 different outfits a day, but he does. And so I'm washing the clothes every day and it gets me in the habit and it doesn't require this massive burst of energy or momentum to tackle this insurmountable task because I just do a little bit every day. And so that's why I'm a really big fan of just doing your asks daily. I'm okay with 4 days a week, especially at y'all's level, as long as you're getting the right number done. Like I used to, when I was in CPA, I used to work 4 10s. I don't want y'all to work 10 hours a day on Plexus, but I really liked just having Friday as kind of a flex day. So I mean, but if you do it consistently on a regular basis, it makes it easier and it doesn't require momentum to get the ball rolling. Okay. So that's kind of what I wanted to cover today. So now so you understand, because y'all are all working to get other people to gold as well. So what can you take from this and use when you're talking to new people that are open to sharing? What can you do to use this information that I just shared with you? I have a thought, but I'm waiting for y'all first to see if y'all have a thought. And I want to tell you that pretty much all my thoughts currently are coming from God, because they are not coming from me, because my life is off the rails at the moment. So don't think that it's all about Aubrey being so smart. It is literally God saying, well done, my good and faithful servant. I'm going to give you what you need because I know you don't have it in yourself right now. So, okay, here's the deal. When you're talking to somebody about sharing, you can help them from the beginning know that when they're reaching out, they are looking for people who have a need and are open. And that's not all people. And that has nothing to do with them. It totally has to do with the person that they're reaching out to. And if you can help them have that mindset from the beginning, you're helping them develop the mindset of a leader. And what we're trying to do in these instances is help people, is develop leaders and develop people who can do this as a career. And when you talk to people, if you give them this information and they assimilate it and they use it and they work through it, then they have the ability to go on and become a leader. If you tell them this 5 different times and they freak out every time somebody tells them no, they may not be at the point in their life yet where they can be somebody that can be one of your leaders. So just, as we are sharing with people, we are trying to see, are they one of the 5 coins? The hard thing about flipping over the solo cups and looking for the gold coins is that they might not look like gold coins when you first flip them over. They might be a little dirty. They might have some extra rust on them or something. They might have Coke on them. Covering them up. I don't know. I'm not sure what they might have cheer wine or something red, big red. They might be covered in big red, but you're looking for qualities that could help them become a good leader with your guidance. And so the way we develop leaders is by helping them develop the mindset of a leader. So when you first start talking to people, you want to help them understand that you're going to help them reach out. You're going to help them post. But guess what? Number one, the algorithm is on its own planet, and the experts most of the time don't even know what day to post and if if the algorithm is the same today as it was yesterday. There are people with entire jobs of trying to tell you what the algorithm is doing today because it changed from yesterday. Okay, so you can't ever know what the algorithm is doing. So that's number one. Just because you post doesn't even mean people see it. And then if they do see it, they don't necessarily show you what they're thinking in their head. They probably won't show you what they're thinking in their head. It's likely that you're going to have to post multiple times before you even know that somebody was actually looking at it. And always you're going to hear, yeah, I was watching your post. Well, really, why didn't you say anything? So helping them know that all this is normal and it's okay. They're so excited. They're posting. They think everybody's going to look at it. They need to know that only 10% of people see any given Facebook post. And that's nothing about them. That's just about the algorithm and about the way Facebook looks and about the timing that people are online. Now, there may be more people looking right now if they're home waiting on the hurricane to hit, but they might not actually be in the right mindset either if they're waiting for the hurricane to hit. So, but you just never know. And so you want to help people start to understand that there's what they can control and what they can't. And we're not going to freak out about what we can't control. We're just going to do what we can do. We're going to send the ass. We're going to get more people to know we exist. We're going to help those people know, like, and trust us. And especially in this stance, in this place that we are, we're going to do that as quickly and as scalably as possible, which means we're going to do a live on Facebook and just talk about things that are important to us. We're going to share interesting stuff about our life. I was literally going to do a story yesterday and I just got distracted about how I spent 45 minutes drinking my coffee and wondering why it would not come out of the cup easily. And then I realized that the little spout thing was mostly closed. And I realized I needed to open the little spout. I mean, that makes me relatable and it makes people laugh. And that is my identity. So it doesn't have to be this thought out, like I had this thought about Christianity, or I had this thought about the state of the world and the economy, or I had this thought about the Beatitudes. Just like in your stories, especially, just share something going on in your day. I was totally gonna do that. And then I don't remember why I didn't do it. And then it was like not useful anymore because I finished my coffee mug. But I might just do it and tell it tomorrow and be like, so in case you're, needing to feel successful at life, just know that this is what I did yesterday. So if you're figuring out how to drink your coffee and actually open the spout, you're doing better than me. So, I mean, but that just makes you laugh. And that makes you be like, oh, she's relatable. She's not this special, like, person that everything works out well for and she's got it all together. No, definitely not. So you can do that kind of thing in your stories, but also do a live. Because if you go live and talk, the people that watch it are going to feel more like they know you. And you don't have all the time in your day to just duplex this stuff all day. So you can do that and reach more people and get more people from the know you exist bucket to the know, like, and trust you bucket. And then you can send them messages about a way that you could solve what you think might be a problem for them, or ask them if they have any problems. Or you might just say, hey, I know you have kids. My guess is if you're like most people, if you're like me, you have a lot of stress. I was wondering if you could relate to this story. Or, I know a lot of people are worried with flu season coming up and COVID season ramping back up. And I saw this story about this person that, was taking these products and then her family didn't get the flu this year, or her whole family got the flu and she didn't get the flu. And I was just wondering what you thought about it. But you're going to be more likely to get people in that second bucket to say yes or to respond to you than if you're just sending that to strangers that only know you exist and don't even necessarily know you exist. They just know that you're their friend on Facebook. Does that make sense? So all those things are important, but the key is that we want to be getting to that conversation as fast as possible, to asking that question and getting people to a yes or a no. So then we can see how many more people we need to get to know and how many more people we need to get to know us. So, okay, so I was a little all over the place, but I feel like I brought it back home. Any questions about that? What I want you to do this week is I want you to think about your conversations. I want you to just be aware of your conversations. And then next week, I just want you to tell me, like, how many conversations did you have? How many conversations did you have that were not about Plexus? How did you show up on social media to help people get to know you better? And how many conversations did you have about Plexus? Now, then that would be asks and follow-ups. And most of you guys track that in some way anyway, or at least kind of think about it. So that's easy. I don't want this to be extra work for you, but kind of like when we're evaluating, are you drinking enough water for weight loss? Or are you eating enough protein for weight loss? I want to know, are we having enough conversations for business success? And of the conversations we're having, so of the water we're drinking, of the protein, of the food that we're eating, how much of it is like, is it like, are we eating peanuts or are we eating peanut butter that has a really low protein per calorie content? Or are we eating eggs that pack a powerful punch where we're getting more out of the protein that we're eating, if that makes sense? So I kind of want to think about the quality of our conversations, because conversations are the key in this business. So I just want you to, and I don't want you to do a lot of extra work, but I just want you, as you're going through your week, like, think about, Okay, what kind of conversations did I have today? If you have an IPA sheet, just kind of make a few notes, like take 5 minutes and just evaluate what kind of conversations did I have today? What were they about? Who did I talk to? Did I get people to a yes or a no, or did they just ignore me? How many ghosting conversations did I have? I just want to know, like, I don't know that there's a right or wrong. There's just an evaluating where we are and where we want to go with our conversations. And seeing, like, are we really, do the number of conversations and the type of conversations we're having help us reach our goals, or do we need to make some adjustments? Okay. Y'all got it? And if you're watching this recording, y'all have homework too. Think about your conversations. Let's conversate and let's think about our conversations and let's journal instead of a food journal, we're going to journal our conversations this week and we're going to evaluate them and see what tweaks we can make to help us have better conversations. Awesome. I love seeing you guys. It just makes my heart so happy. I hope this was helpful. If there's certain things that you're just going through your week and you're like, okay, I need help with this, or I'm not even sure what I need, but I just know that this situation is hard for me. And then just throw those things in the chat so that I know, because I want this to be what y'all need to hear. And I also pray that God will put on my heart what y'all need to hear. But for sure, if there's something that comes to your mind that you're like, oh, I need this, let me know, and I'll figure out how to put it in. Does that make sense?
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So I'm going to let you guys go. We're going